Do you ever have those moments where you're just wondering if you're being looked after by those who've passed on and kind of moved on with their lives? Well, I can tell you that I've personally been affected by a couple of those moves, and I would be honored to share them with you today. So, if you believe in the afterlife, that's great. If you don't, I hope I can convince you otherwise. So, my grandfather passed away in 1998 from leukemia, and his wife lived on for about 10 ish years after that, 15 ish years after. But right before she passed, we had a very interesting series of events. So, my event that happened personally to me was that the book that my grandmother wrote fell off of a shelf and opened up to the picture of my grandfather. And it was really weird. I was kind of concerned. So, I ended up calling my mom, who they said that they had a very similar experience. My mom was on the phone with me and she was talking about how this big vase of wheat that was on my aunt's top shelf of the mantle had fallen over and it remained intact, but the wheat that fell out was standing straight up and down. And I was sitting there and I'm like, God, that's really crazy. And so when she was talking to me, my dad came up and my dad goes, well, that kind of explains it. My dad, for the record, is not somebody who believes in afterlife by any means necessary. He does not believe in it. He doesn't think that it's something that's there. But he changed his mind after having a few run-ins with us, changed his mind. So when he did that, comes upstairs and we start talking about it. He goes, well, that explains why Lloyd was standing at the edge of your bed kneeling and telling me to take care of you. My mom goes, what? She goes, yeah, he was just there like he was normally there in his jeans and his red plaid shirt like he gets home from work every day. Told me to take care of you. So my grandfather made a believer out of my dad. My dad made a believer out of me. My dad passed away in June of 2011, which is kind of sometimes a sad story, but it's a really kind of peaceful story at the end of the day. He's not suffering anymore, so great on him. I'm happy for him, but he's definitely making sure we're taken care of. We had just moved into a brand new house, me and my mom, and it was just this weird day where half the electricity went out, the heating element on my water heater went out. I mean, things were just breaking left and right on a brand new house, which shouldn't have had these issues. But they were. Whatever. C'est la vie, right? And I ended up calling the builder, and the builder's like, yeah, we can send over the plumber who was working on your house. Like, toilets were leaking, just everything. Sent over the plumber, and we ended up getting to talking, and I was like, you look like my dad. Do you mind if I take a picture of you? So I took a picture, sent it to my mom. And my mom was sitting there. She's like, holy crap, he looks just like your dad. And I was like, I know, right? We were all just kind of giggling. And somehow, some way, I let it slip that his name was Gary. And the plumber was sitting there saying, are you kidding me? And I'm like, no, his name's Gary. And I didn't understand why he was really confused. And then it hit me that his name was also Gary. Well, Gary is a dying name, except in the Midwest. But it's a dying name. Not many people are named Gary. And we ended up talking, and he had the exact same birthday. He's super handy like my dad was. And it just made me smile knowing that my dad was there looking after, me and my mom, and he was just there taking care of us when we needed it most. So I guess if you didn't believe in an afterlife, I hope that some of my experiences can show you that there is one. And, divine intervention, dumb luck, whatever you want to call it, it exists. And they're there. They're looking out for you. Have a great night, everyone.